Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Albion Raw Lockdown series, Shirt of Our Years with me, Ady Packham, and in association with oldfootballshirts.com. In this episode, I was delighted to be joined by former Albion and current Kilmarnock midfielder Gary Dicker, who took us through his career and, of course, a shirt that means something to him. Don't forget, you can still catch the other episodes in this series featuring the likes of Peter Ward and Paul Camlin. If you just go over to our YouTube channel and you can subscribe there. Hope you enjoy this episode and we see you again for the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Albion Raw Lockdown Show, Shirt of Our Years. And I'm delighted to be joined by a bit of an Albion hero of mine, actually. He played 138 times for the Albion, scored 6 goals, a couple of them absolute doozies. And he's probably quite underrated as a player with us. But he's certainly appreciated. I mean, you can see him. You can see his face. He's there. It's Gary Dicker, everyone. How are you, Gary? You okay?
I'm good, thanks.
But it's a bit of a strange time now. Obviously, you're currently still playing. You're still employed by Kilmarnock, although we're not quite sure what's happening with the season there. And obviously, you're living up there, but you still live in Brighton.
Yeah, I live just outside Brighton and Stelling, so I'm still down here a lot. Obviously, still connected with the area down here, and obviously checking the results all the time, like everyone else, I think.
Yeah. There's a really wonderful video of you from a few months back of you in your digs up there in Scotland and talking about how you miss the family and how difficult it is being away from them for large chunks of the time, because obviously they still remain down here and you're up there. It's a bit of a role reversal at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're sick of me now, to be honest with you. Yeah, it is. It's difficult away from home, but in a strange way, it's worked out well in a way for me. Obviously, for the wrong reasons that I'm back home. But no, it's been nice to be home and being about the place. Obviously, you don't want these circumstances to be home, but no, it has been. It's been hard one way and it's been good in another.
How good of a teacher are you? How's your home tutoring going on?
Not good. Not gonna lie. I think you've got to have a special skill set, to be honest, to be a school teacher. Patience is the main word, and I've not got a lot of it, I don't think.
I know. I was watching some videos of you earlier, and there's a wonderful sending off. It was a really nasty tackle.
Oh yeah. In fairness, I wasn't that bad. I think it's just the refs up in Scotland don't like me an awful lot. I wasn't really one for a lot of bookings in my career. Maybe it's just when I've got older, I got a bit angrier. So I've only had one or two, so I've not been too bad.
But they are sponsored by Specsavers up there, so you know. But so I mean, what's the current plan at the moment? I mean, obviously you are still playing. The championship and below's now been postponed. It's been stopped now. Dundee have actually decided that they do want to vote. But I mean, the Scottish Premier League is still not doing that. So I mean, what do you think's actually going to happen?
Well, I think the sensible thing would be call it as it is. Obviously, I think they're trying to reconstruct the league to make the league bigger, which would also stop teams in the top league getting relegated. So it's one of them. I think it's getting a happy medium for everyone to be agreed on. But then again, because it's Hearts on the bottom and it's a big enough club, I don't think there'd probably be much of an uproar if it was Kilmarnock down the bottom, to be honest with you. I think it would have been see you later kind of job. But I think they do need to make the league bigger up there. I think that'll help the league. But I think right now, financially, I don't think teams will survive if it keeps going on and you don't have a date. It's a bit different with the Premier League, obviously. So I think the smartest and safest way to do it would be just to finish the season as it is.
But you say that, Gary, as well. I mean, you say that the teams aren't going to survive there. But let's talk about some of the other clubs that you played for, the likes of Crawley, the likes of Carlisle, the likes of well, obviously Stockport are in non-league at the moment. So I mean, those clubs they're going to be desperately struggling and hoping for some sort of resolution.
Yeah, I think that's when I know everyone's saying about the Premier League, but I think now the money involved in it. I know the players have done it. They've got a rough time, which they probably shouldn't have. They were the first to get called out. But I think the actual Premier League, I think now's the time for them to help out lower leagues and non-leagues and try help filter the money down, just to try keep it afloat. As you said, you can see what happened with teams before with Brady that have gone out of business and stuff like that. There's a lot of good footballing clubs around, and they offer a lot to community. So hopefully you won't see teams going bust, to be honest with you, and hopefully there is money that's filtered down to keep them afloat.
Yeah. Okay, well let's talk about the other end of it, and it's well known that you're a Liverpool fan there, Gary. And now, obviously there is a conspiracy theory that this is just a plan to stop Liverpool from winning the title. But I mean, they have won it in your lifetime, but you're only 3. So
definitely, I think it is a bit of that. But nah, not serious. I don't think anyone could complain if they did get awarded it. But obviously, it's the opposite end of the table that's going to cause a lot of problems if it does happen. So I don't know how you sort out the Premier League, to be honest. I wouldn't like to be the person that calls a decision if it's the wrong one or if they can't finish it. I think they will finish the season eventually. I think they've got enough money and resources to hold out, more so than other leagues. They will get more probably TV money on top of it if it drags on. So I think it's a hard one. I don't think they should be in a rush to get a finish. I know everyone's panicking, wanting to get back out there and train and play. And I think it's tough for players because they're training and you haven't got a date and you don't know what's going to happen. So it can be quite mentally draining on your own, not knowing when you're going to be back. And I know some clubs are letting players go back to the training ground, but you're still individual training, and from a player's point of view, you don't gain much from it.
yeah, I mean, is that what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, I'm just keeping fit at the moment, but I'm at a stage there where you think, well, there's only so much you can pound the body and pound yourself at home and try mix it up. You can't reenact football training individually. You can keep ticking over and you can keep a base level, but as I said, there's only so much the mind can do when you're running on your own and you're doing stuff like that. So I think players and clubs have calmed down the last few weeks with what they're asking players to do and how much training they're doing, because you're going to have a mini pre-season or an extended pre-season when you get back anyway. Yeah. So I think you'll probably see people with more injuries at home training, because people who usually see the physio get a massage or get loosened up in the morning, you've not got that. So I think clubs will probably be wary of players probably coming back with more injuries, to be honest.
Well, this is going to be a longer break than you have normally in pre-season as well, between in the close season. So it's you're definitely going to need to get that fitness level up. But I found the answer, and the answer is swing ball. That's what we've got going on here, and it's
trampoline's not bad. I've been on the trampoline. That's a good workout.
But we've got all the garden games. The Garden Olympics is still up and running. It's a beautiful thing. Now, also, like I said at the top of the show, that you're very well appreciated here at the Albion. And I know you've got a lot of happy memories. I know you've been speaking to Johnny Cantor and the likes about that recently as well. But what stood out for you as the main thing? What made Brighton special for you?
It's a tough question. I don't think you could say one thing. I think the period I was there was a great time to be there. Obviously, getting promoted, and obviously, first of all, when we stayed up the first time I came on loan, and then we kicked on again after that and moved into the ground, and just the brand of football and just the whole club in general, I think was always going to get to the Premier League. I could have told you back then it was going to get there. It was a matter of time. And that's a hard thing to predict in football. Anything's hard to predict in football. Obviously, different end of the table when you're the top teams. But even back then, I knew it's a hard league to get out. But there was only one way Brighton was going, and that was going up. And it was a great time to be part of it.
obviously you played at the Amex and you played it with Dean as well, and obviously there's it's chalk and cheese, are worlds apart from actual playing experience. But with Dean it holds such special memories for me, and probably one of the most successful periods of our history, actually, in terms of the trophies we actually won and promotions, etc. How was it for you as a player playing with Dean?
I've touched on it. Yeah, I actually didn't mind it, to be honest with you. I actually liked it. Big dressing rooms. Didn't mind a little walk down to the pitch, down the hill. And the pitch, in fairness, the pitch in the last year that we were there and we won the league, the pitch was unbelievable. I've touched on it. It was like a bowling green. It was perfect. And we kind of used it that year. Gus and Tano and Charlie, they kind of built that into us. It was nobody kind of likes us. Everyone's against us. Nobody likes the stadium. And it was us against the world, basically. That's how it felt. And same with our fans. And I think the fans grew to that as well. And we had unbelievable support there, even when it rained.
We've said it on this show before. It's the only place on the planet where you can get sunstroke and pleurisy at the same time. It was quite the thing.
It was some good times down there. And
you scored a cracking goal. I remember that. I think it was against Exeter. It was volleyed straight into the top corner.
Yeah, there wasn't many. I was probably in shock more than anyone that went in. But no, I had some great times there. Even the open days, I know they're a lot different now. We had some good open days down there, and the fans were getting good crowds, and it brings back a lot of good memories for me. I think even going into the little bar after the game, the Sportsman Bar and stuff like that, and meeting the media was allowed anywhere. You were mobbed straight away coming out of the dressing room. It was all pretty old school. And, I think the lads enjoyed it. I think players appreciated the pitch as well that we had. As I said, see if the pitch had been a bog, I think it would have been different. But the club was improving everything, and we didn't mind. To be fair, it was our little place.
Special. It was a special environment. Now, obviously, this is a Shirt of Our Years episode, and in association with oldfootballshirts.com, of course. And Gary, what have you got for me? I've got no idea what this is.
No
so I don't know what to. Here we go. I love it. It's one of my. I've got it here. Actually, why did you choose that one?
Probably because the week leading up to the game, obviously going to touch on. I think Brighton's Twitter page had it on there the other day when we played Leeds away. When El Hadji Diouf got sent off after he scored his penalty, with a few sending offs that day. I remember.
Yeah, there's 3. They got sent off for us as well, didn't they?
And it was the week. It was the week my nana died that week. And I remember being at home for the funeral and just been a crazy week. I'm not sure when I got back to Brighton. It could have been the Wednesday. I could have got back into Brighton, and as you know, an Irish funeral is not. It's not a quiet one.
It's not conducive.
I remember we had a big bash for me, and it was about 250 people. It was like a wedding, and it was just an emotional week, and it kind of meant a lot. And then I came on that game. I'm sure I came on at half time, and just being Ellen Road, I know there wasn't many home fans on one side, but usually down behind the goals there was, and our away fans were unbelievable that day. And then everything that went with it, and then just to win, and I actually remember throwing the shirt into the crowd, second shirt I had after the game, and it just sticks out in my mind because it was actually a few days ago, as you said, it wasn't that long ago, and it just brought back obviously hard memories, and it was a great way to end the week, a bad week for me and my family and stuff like that, and it's just one that sticks out in my mind.
And what a ball from Andrea Orlandi for Ujawa's winner in that game, by the way. It was absolute. That was a peach. I mean, Orlandi, let's talk a little about him. Obviously, he's had to retire now. Obviously, he's had some really bad health issues. Andrea's, like you, has been on the Albion Roar before, and he's such a wonderful, wonderful human being, and such a great pleasure to be around. How was it like for you playing with him?
He was a great guy. I think straight away when someone's a good guy and they come into a dressing room. he just has that vibe. He was always happy. He was easy to chat to, and he had a great left foot, and he was a good player straight away. You knew, but I think him as a person, I think look out more. I was injured with him for a bit actually when I was coming back from injury through one of the injuries I had, and I actually clicked with him quite well. And he's just one of them guys. He's easy to talk to. He's passionate, and I'm glad he's doing well after football now. I know he's doing a lot of media work in Spain and stuff like that, but no, he's one of the good guys. And I think after I'd left, I think he had a bit of a bad injury spell where he wasn't really that injured when I played with him for the year and a bit when he was at Brighton. I think it was after that he left. But I think he's probably, I know he's rated, but I think the last year probably would have done, or he was unlucky not to play more with his injury, as I said, because I think he played a vital part in maybe getting the club up if they had kept him fit the following year.
Yeah. Now this could be controversial, so let's see how we go with this. Who was the best player to wear that shirt?
The best player.
I've got a name in mind.
Yeah, well, in fairness, there was a few. Obviously, I'd say Andrea was up there. He had a bit of everything. Obviously, Bucks was on fire then as well. He scored that day as well. I'm sure Nooney wore it when Nooney was flying. But obviously, I think Vicente played with it that year as well.
There we go.
So, I'm sure I've got one of his tops up there. So I'd say he was. But we also had Wayne Bridge. You had Matty Upson. You'd international players there. People who played Champions Leagues, won leagues. So, I'd say the most skillful and the best to play with probably was for his ability. And same with Andrea's character. I think Andrea obviously had better English. Vicente didn't really have the best of English, but he loved the banter in the dressing room. I think the Spanish boys quite enjoyed the harshness of the banter that we had and the stuff we'd say to people. And
they understood
we got
that
on as a group. Yeah, I think they quite enjoyed it and they bought into it. Like Calde was great for the Spanish boys as well. I think he brought it all together at the start. And same with Calde, he came up through a lot when he signed. We weren't great when he first came in, and then he grew at the club as well. So I think all the lads that we played with, there were some good players there to play in that team. But I think for natural ability, it'd be Vicente.
Yeah, well, that was the name that was it was in my head about that one. But I mean, there was, like you said, unbelievable players. I mean, Wayne Bridge and that whole team. I mean, I've got such happy memories of watching that team, including yourself included, obviously. And it was. I mean, we got so close. I mean, obviously there was the playoff game against they who cannot be named. But I mean, what did the players make of that? Because I mean, obviously there was a bit of a scandal before the home leg in that playoff in regards to a certain Croydon coach driver. What did you lot know anything about it when that was going on? Or?
Fair, we didn't know anything about it. We didn't know anything about it until it broke days later. And as I said, I think it was one of them. I think they tried to add a bit more glitter to their win and try to make it out as this big whole bravado thing, or we use this. I think just to try to add legs to the story. As players, nobody mentioned it. Their players didn't mention it in the tunnel or mention anything about it in the game, or I can't remember anything even been said at pre-match about it and stuff like that. So I think it was a lot of rubbish, to be honest.
I mean, it was the last game for Gus Poyet.
Yeah, it was a sad way how it ended. It was the last time I was at the Amex as a player as well, and a few others, Vicente, Marcus Painter had left. So it was. I just think stuff happens in football, and it was a sad way for it to end, to be honest. But that's what happens. I think
the job should have been done. The job should have been done at Selhurst Park anyway. That 0-0 draw would be.
We should have won that. I remember Dino missed a header from across Dean Hammond. I think he hit out the keeper, and we should have won that game. On the bench that game, and they got away with it. They kind of hung on, and sometimes that's a difference if you just don't score at the right time. And the second leg was just one of them strange games. It was nothing really happening, and then 2 goals came, and then that's it. Goals change games, really, and you're chasing your tail. So it was a hard one. It was good for the club, obviously, for everyone involved. But as I said, I think the club was always going to get to the Premier League. I don't think it was going to take another 10 years the way the chairman and the rest of the club are going, and the ambition that the club has. But it was a sad time, and as you said, Gus left, and I left, and another few players left, and it all ended a bit strange, but that's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I've got a shirt here for you as well. Actually, just want to know what your memories of this particular one is as well. You might recognise it from the collar. Here we go. Can you see this one?
Yeah, that's actually my favourite one. I don't know why. I don't even like V-necks in shirts, but I don't know what it was. I quite like that shirt. It fit well. It still just about fits you anyway, I can see.
The lockdown's not looking well. I might have become an alcoholic, I think. But
no, it was a good shirt. I remember that one quite well. Had some good memories in it. Obviously,
obviously we won the league in this shirt. The League One there, captained by Gordon Greer, who of course went on to play with you at Kilmarnock as well. He was a good lad, Gordon.
Great lad, Gordon. I think Big Gigi probably, I don't know, probably underappreciated as well. I think for his time there and for what he'd done. And I was only chatting to him the other day, actually.
Sent off in your first game, to be honest.
Nah, and he was suspended for the first year before that as well.
Yeah.
He missed the first 3 league games, I'm sure. He got sent off in the playoffs for Swindon.
It was a controversial red card, though.
Yeah, but no, he was a great guy, and he was a great captain for me down there. Had many arguments with him on the pitch, in the dressing room, but we all got on great. I always touch on it, that dressing room we had back then. I don't know whether the rest would say, but I absolutely loved it. We had some great lads in there. Tommy Elphick, Nooney, Barnesy, Alan Navarro, Adam Alab, Big Gigi. We had some good times in that dressing room. Matty Sparrow, we had characters everywhere, all different types. Big Casper, Big Peter.
Did Craig Noon ever mention that he once fixed Steve Gerrard's roof?
Yeah, he did. I remember that during the game, Nooney. I remember that was in the build-up, actually, before we played Liverpool. That was all over. I think they're actually quite good friends
because you mentioned it a lot.
Yeah, I think they're quite good pals now, to be honest. I think they stayed in touch after that game, after Gerrard knew the story and stuff like that. So, no, we had a really good dressing room, and we had some good characters, some funny stories, and some a lot that can't be repeated. But no, we had great times back then. We all gelled together. We all got on together, which doesn't happen all the time in the dressing rooms. But there was even little things. We all used to go for lunch together on a Wednesday and stuff like that. Everyone used to go out together. So no, it was good times. I had some great end of season trips. And that year we got promoted when we went to Marbella before the season ended. We had some good times off the pitch as well as on the pitch.
You can remember it?
Just about. I remember the promotion one. Big Woodsy, I think. Big Chris Wood, who was on loan with us at the time.
Yeah,
we all got to Marbella, and it was just like, right. Oh no, we flew out the Saturday night after we played. I don't know who we played at home on the Saturday.
Was this at the end of the season? Was it
the second last game of the season? It was the second last game of the season.
At
home. I can't even remember, but we all went straight out. Me and Nooney and all that went straight out. Tommy and Sparrow, and we were like, oh, we'll just go out because we were getting collected at 4 a.m. So we said, we might as well just go out. Gaffer what more? The Gaffer's meetings at Gatwick will be fine. So we all got in at about, swear to God, we got in at about 3:30. I remember scrambling around trying to find me tracksuit from that day, getting the tracksuit. Nooney I'm sure he had a Hawaiian shirt on underneath his tracksuit. that he'd wore out that night, or that he bought off someone. I think he bought it off someone in the nightclub. I don't know what he was doing. And then we ended up going. But when we got there the next day, we had to chill out, and then we had breakfast and then lunch, and then the gaffer at the time, Gus, just said, right, everyone has to be back for dinner at 8, and then you can go out after that if you want. And he was like, just make sure everyone makes dinner. So as you know, everyone gets a bit excited. We get back, I swear to God, we get back at about 5 to 8, panicking in taxis. There's about 1 million taxis pulling up, so we gotta go. We all get out to dinner. Everyone's trying to act normal, as you do. I'm not sure how many went. There could have been 25 of us or 24, so we're doing a head count, and we're like, there's one missing. Everyone's like, who's missing? Well, everyone's like, oh, I don't know. I'm here. I don't care. You know, all that. And then someone figures out Big Woodsy's missing. And then we're saying, who's even room with him? I think it was Barnesy. We thought, oh, no. We're like, Barnesy, where is he? Oh, I don't know. I haven't been back. So we get back to the room. He's obviously only a young lad back then. He had a few drinks. He was in an absolute heap in the bedroom. Just remember 4 or 5 was dragging him up, holding him up, trying to get him up. He got up and then he was all right. Got him up to dinner, had some dinner, and he was all right. But I just remember looking at him and thinking, you're not going to last a week here, bud. He was in a bad way. But no, that summed it up. I think everyone knew, and everyone knew when to have a laugh and when not to step out of line. And we had good team spirit. That was one of the normal stories, anyway.
And of course that was the last season at Withdean as well, and into the Amex era, and and the rest, as they say, is history. So I mean, what next for you? I mean, I take it you haven't heard any more from Killy as regards to when you're going back up there.
No, not really. I spoke to the manager there a few days ago, and I think everybody's just at the stage where unless it's safe to go back, and everything's going to go back to normal, and we know where we stand. I don't think there's a panic. In fairness to the manager, we didn't really talk football. First thing he mentioned was how was my family, is everyone keeping safe? And I think that's probably the sensible thing right now. I know everyone wants it back and wants football back on the telly and stuff like that, but I can't see the rush. I think if they are going to finish the season and then start the following season pretty soon after, I don't see why you can't scrap the League Cup or take a cup out. I know people won't be happy, or if you did have to lose the FA Cup for a year, or I think just to get the games in and the European games in, it wouldn't be the worst. So I think time, as they say, will sort it. So I just think people need to relax, and I know it's mainly the lower league teams, but I think the Premier League teams and sort of that, I think they need to take their time and just make sure it's safe for the players to go back first and foremost.
Well, at the end of the day, Dixie, people are dying, right? So I mean, football's not important in that sort of context. And when we're ready to go back, we'll go back. I mean,
exactly.
The longer the longest goes on, the more we miss it. But we've always got the memories to talk about, and we certainly enjoyed that, and we certainly enjoyed that, and we've certainly enjoyed you watching both of these shirts. So thank you very much, Gary Dicker.
No problem. Thanks a lot.